everybody. Sorry for the brief technical delay here if you're catching us for the first time here. NC State versus Charlotte on Villa CEA Open Series. We're still on map 1, as we're seeing in a 4v4 position here with 55 seconds left to play in round 2. Charlotte on defense and NC State on attack. Charlotte were successful in their defensive ABA games on the round, and, well, looking like they could be successful on their round 2, as Waffles is going to absolutely barge his way out the door, and, well...
NC State looked like they were doing well at the beginning of this round, but as soon as they hit the site, Waffles has decided that nobody's allowed to come anywhere near the site. NC State feels like they're rushing it really poorly. As you can see that they have 8 drones up, and they haven't really done their due diligence in attacking the site, in my opinion.
No, they really haven't. Robert, of course, here now left in a 1v3 situation. Not even going to pick up one is Lazy Ice quickly finding the head of Robert. And, I mean, 2 straight solid defenses from Charlotte. And NC State potentially going to be regretting the voluntary choice to start.
You should be good.
Yeah, you don't need to pause.
Just tell them never mind. For the...
Yeah. But, I mean, that's 2 convincing defenses for Charlotte, so I'm interested to see if potentially NC State regretting the choice to pick attack here.
I think historically Villa has been a much more defense-sided map, with losing 2 rounds to start with if you're starting on the attack. I think that's pretty in line historically how rounds usually play out at the beginning. But
yeah, with
2 rounds off of the board, NC State's had their warm-up. They've probably shaking off a little bit of the rust, saying, okay, we gotta get our act together, and we'll see what they go from here. Looks like they are droning out from... Well, no, they haven't really doing any pre-plays yet. Just kind of getting everything ready. Charlotte running a very standard lineup for this site. Especially bringing the Pulse with the mainstay on this, but with the IQ on NC State's side, do you think that's going to have much less of an impact than they'd like?
I mean, it's really difficult, right? Because it's a bit of that Spider-Man pointing at each other meme when an IQ sees a Pulse to the floor here, because both are, as Waffles, sexually harassing our observer here. Not quite what we like to see in the chat, but
not at all.
What you kind of end up with that, looking at each other meme, and it's a difficult situation, especially with the bars in the floor without a floor hole open. It's a bit of a crapshoot. It's a bit of a gamble to see who's going to win that fight, but it definitely equalizes the chance of the attack. And certainly by now they know that there's a Pulse. It's the default bring. It's what you bring on Kitchen.
IQ is actually scanning for the Pulse right there with KPG, who's going up the balcony at the moment, was looking at the Pulse. I do think the IQ comes out on top in the end in the Pulse versus IQ matchup, purely because she's able to shoot at the Pulse while they're looking at each other.
That is a good point, but the Pulse is able to put away their scanner.
Waffles going very aggressive. Sorry about that.
Oh yeah, Waffles established extremely aggressively here in bathroom, and Robert misses him, but Hardison's gonna get the pick anyways, and now NC State establishing this top floor control, still with 2 minutes to play on the clock. They need to be very careful about these C4s here, not standing still. Hardison really not moving as much as I would really hope for him to, but Pulse nevertheless looking down below,
potentially definitely taking their time as compared to last
this
round.
Could be dangerous.
Oh,
yeah,
there's one.
Devo's gonna get a frag here. As NC State, they don't follow the key tenet. They stay still, and they might
in
not
the bathtub.
know. They won't be able to, yeah, they're in the bathroom. So not gonna get a second C4, and now all of the C4 utility of the defense is completely depleted. So no more of those depth charges from the bottom of the ocean shall come up to disturb them. But bears from across the map might do that, as he is well entrenched in AV, and I'm not quite sure NC State knows of his position.
Oh, they definitely do. They are shooting at him.
They definitely do, as Bears is going to have to take a very unfavorable.
Meanwhile, Bears is trying to apply pressure. NC State is getting their vertical control out with the buck at the moment. They do also have hard breaches, or I'm sorry, breach charges and the secondary shotgun of Jackal in order to do this vertical control.
Or thinking better of trying to fight that off, and instead gonna retreat back to the bomb site where his teammates desperately need him.
It's now 1v4 on the site as well.
Yeah,
as Bears on
just Mama
this is
Fish stuck in that corner there.
Although, since it is the Oryx, he's able to get back to site a lot quicker than one would expect. He does get one. Now he's back on site. It's a 2v3 on site. 20 seconds left in the round. NC State needs to start executing. They kill Mama Fish. Last one standing is Bears in the site. Coming up behind the attackers. Do the attackers know it? They don't.
Around here.
Oh,
but he whiffs!
Gets the planter, but he whiffs on the second. It's still 2v1. NC State has to go for the plant. Planting not an ideal spot. It's up to Virus. Not looking the right way. Oh no!
Virus not able to get the coverage into defense.
That's NC State just letting that go.
Oh,
well done on Bears to
tragic.
exploit the weaknesses in the NC State attack. But oh my gosh.
Wow.
It looked like NC State had that in the bag. But Bears just completely pulls that out of nowhere.
It's difficult there. I mean, really, I think Azteca should have been crossing over to Tetris, and even if he has only 1 second left to plant, he's in a more covered plant position, and Firedus is able to kind of force one angle or another for the engagement for Bears. But back there behind the kitchen table, he's really disconnected from the site. He's really disconnected from the plant there. And so, I mean, it was a smart idea from him.
Exact same position as the last planter too. So not maybe just a little bit of a panic plant there. NC State not starting out very good on this attack, even if it is their preferred side.
Definitely not excited about a full perfect rotation. Typically, you would expect that most defenders are able to win their trophy statue and their Aviator Games defenses, but usually Kitchen should be a little more of a toss-up. And NC State got very close. We should absolutely acknowledge that. But at the end of the day, close is not around, and for a team that was so concerned specifically with building some round differential going into this match, that's really not what you're expecting, and that's not what you're hoping.
Not at all. Yeah, hopefully NC State's able to bring it back, but right now it looks like they're slowly getting their act cleaned up, but hopefully it comes sooner rather than later. Otherwise, they're going to be put in a very awkward position later in this map. Here's this back in the basement.
One thing that I'm noticing as well here is these roam clears are very quick, but not potentially the most thorough. Even with the Jackal on the board here accelerating this roam clear, we're still kind of seeing NC State dealing with the demons of the corners that they haven't cleared. Robert, of course, here in so quickly and so aggressively. That drone work is good to get him in there, but is it good to keep him safe here as he probably expects somebody down here and the drone, but that person will run away and
that wasn't even the person running away, which makes it the funny part.
Yeah, damage dealt, but unfortunately close but no cigar for Robert. However, the Warden is thoroughly terrified and will now have back to site, so that's less of a concern.
NC State's doing a lot better job in being more thorough with their roam clear in this one. However, I do think they have a very distinct weakness on their flank watch, especially if last round was anything to say. It looks like Charlotte has retreated back to the site and they're starting their setup. Novozo isn't allowed to set up his barricades the same way he did the first defense on this site, especially with the Flores in play. It does take a little bit of damage.
And he's going to start setting them up like that. But
it looks like with the Flores drones, it's starting to take out some of the barriers. There are no frag grenades, so it's up to... Ooh! Nice long shot coming from 90 corner. NC State is aware that Novozo is down, however, he's backed up to study, which is a very safe position for Charlotte at the moment.
Yeah, there's nothing that they're going to be able to do unless they can get this Flores drone in to stop the res, but unfortunately it's just too far away and not enough quickly enough. However, Robert going to find a frag on an entirely healed enemy, so overall the HP calculation is still in favor of NC State, however.
Utility's not here. NC State needs to start playing a little bit more together here. They're spread out on all three different corners of the map, pretty much just taking their ones and hoping that they win. Hardison is in the site. Robert has taken study.
Hardison could go for a play here, but they don't have defuse.
Yeah, Robert can cover the planter from study now, but it's just a matter of, is Robert going to be able to provide enough cover? Yes, he can. He's in a great position with enough bullets.
One, but looking for the second, and he's not quite sure where to look. Yeah, sitting here tucked like this is the correct play, because now the defender has to peek through, and Robert going to find both of those frags. NC State picking up an attack, and we saw them starting to clean up their attacks over the course of the past few rounds, but that is the final conversion that they needed into a round win. Unfortunately, though, it came off the back of Robert getting an ace.
That was an ace?
I believe so.
Interesting. Yeah, definitely looks like it. With the hero plays from Robert, NC State still doesn't look very solid. As you can see from that attack, when they were down to 3 people left, all 3 of their players were on 3 very different areas of the map. With Robert
that
able
was
to
either
kind of shoot people in the back more than anything, at least
yeah, it
initially.
was either an ace or it was an ace or a 4K. I know it was at least a 4K. I don't know if Carson got a pick entering it, but I don't think he did.
I don't believe so either. Well, regardless, that round rests solely on Robert's shoulders for the win for NC State. Regardless of who got the last kill.
Yeah, it's definitely concerning when your first win after some trials and tribulations comes at the back of what is essentially a monumental hero play, and that's not the way that you want to be winning these rounds. But all the same, rounds are rounds, and you take them.
Yeah, this must do a little bit of help for NC State's mental situation at the very least. Even if they came off the back of a hero plays, you know, sometimes you can get other people to get a little bit hotter than they'd like. Double hard breachers coming out from NC State, by the way, here with the Hibana and the Ace. Yeah.
Interesting tactic here, of course, the idea being to open up the walls into Trophy and Statuary fully, because when you've got all those walls open, there's really not a safe space to play in Statue, and Trophy becomes a bit of a peekaboo nightmare. So, in some circumstances,
holding in closet.
Right,
do you think he's going to be holding there permanently, or is he just there to stall? What do you think?
I definitely think he's just there to stall, and I think NC State should be able to deal with him pretty quickly, but it definitely looks like he's beginning to entrench himself here as he's heading to line discs.
Where are the rest of the NC State players, by the way? We have 2 people on the balcony here, but are the rest? One is on Wolf, and then it looks like there's 2 pushing Study. NC State, another very split up push here. I don't really like this.
I do. I like the being able to hit it, you know, from all sides at once here, being able to kind of collapse in on the bomb site. You really don't need more than 2 people on Study, in my opinion. Even with an aggressive hold like this, you've got, you know, any more than 2 or 3, and it really just begins to become a crowd, and it's not really conducive to the take here. Of course, the Wamai still utterly entrenched here, but I believe he has an escape route. That could be a ball hole.
Ooh.
But why would you do that? Oh, and why would you do that? Now, come on, now.
Lion for the Wamai is a very interesting trade. I don't think Wamai was able to get any pucks onto the actual site. But without the Lion pings, well, regardless, this visual is, ooh, Bears gets hardest with a C4. Oh man, Bears is a menace with those C4s. But it looks like NC State's starting to rotate over. They know that this angle exists. Robert died from it, and they're just hopping through the window like a bunch of lemmings. What is going on? NC State.
Robert knew that the frost map was there, and
it looks like he just missed, unfortunately.
He just doesn't shoot enough. He
Not at all.
Shoots a couple pellets, and
Waffles is going insane.
Baiting on the red door, gonna get a couple of frags here, but gonna get tagged up through the wall. That does give him the positional information that he might need to finish up these kills here. He knows
this is a pure 1v1 here in Statue. I don't believe the other person in Master has an angle on him.
It could be head holes, but the audio might be confusing for him as he's hearing things. He's looking down red, and he's not convinced that both players are on site, but that is the location of both. I think his cleanest avenue here is Trophy and to try to take this fight on the head holes.
Agreed.
They're really not holding his 4 walk-in, so he could absolutely hop in here and make a bit of a
This
ruckus,
is not looking good for him. He's got 10 seconds. He's got to go. He's got to get the right angle. He just doesn't get it. Waffles with the 4K for the round.
Yeah, he just didn't know about that statue angle. And
fun fact, Waffles, I believe his only kills have come from 2 4Ks.
I mean, good rounds to do him, and you don't really want to question where all the kills came from. If they
Not at all.
If they turned into round wins, then they turned into round
I
wins.
think, now that I think about it, it's 2 4Ks that both took place on Trophy Statue defense. This is very, it looks like that's his bread and butter right there. Also, last defensive round for UNCC with 4 rounds on their defensive side. You know, that's pretty much an ideal split right there. Anything else here is extra. So, what do you think the strength of this UNCC defense is coming from that's giving NC State so much trouble?
I mean, really, it's just losing the gunfights on site. I mean, we've got Bears going 6-2, Waffles going 8-2, and Lazy Eye's not doing too bad himself. frags here, and I mean, you see 3 players on the side of NC State, 3 gunners that we know can well. Sorry, 2 gunners that we know that can well. Only having 1 kill and 1 absolute terrible player, we all expect. So it's
League of Reasons.
you know.
I hope that's a joke. Anyways, we'll leave it at that.
That's a joke. We all know it's a joke.
NC State going back for their standard take. We're on a. Is this a? Sorry. What side are we on? Aviator. Aviator Games. Right.
Yeah, we're Aviator Games.
So looks like NC State's going for their usual take as well, and it looks like just more of the usual from both sides here. However, there is no more Azami. Instead, they brought the Cade, probably to try and stop the vault take from happening so quickly. But with the impact EMPs off of Lion, if they don't get them off the board quickly enough, you know that impact EMP will do just about nothing. Now Bear's still hanging around in the basement at the moment. Oh, that's one. NC State not doing their due diligence with these Kapkan traps again, taking a lot of damage.
Yeah. Really, really difficult to be taking so much damage so early in. Not, you really, really, really do not want to see that.
NC State pushing very hard to try and get 90 control here. Active drones, and we have all 5 members of NC State coming up here. Bears is going for the flank right now. Nevoza gets a good kill on Azteca. Bears is hanging around below Astro Stairs right now. Looks like he's looking for a Nitro, actually. This is not a good position for NC State. I don't believe they have any idea he's there.
I really don't think they do, but nevertheless, they are pressing on, and this Cade and Mute not gonna.
They're able to get it, actually. Oh, but there's a second.
No, yeah, they're not gonna be able to get the open both.
Oh wow, another explosion. Is that another Nitro that just went off right there?
Yeah, that Nitro got tossed above Vault Wall, and it barely missed Robert. That was potentially really bad here. Well, what's even worse is Partisan feeding his life.
There's a guy pushing up 90. That's a very interesting position. Bears gets to flank off of red stairs and now running back towards bottom main. Linda left in the round, 2v5, not looking good for NC State.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Charlotte's really playing their hearts out, playing very confidently in these gunfights. Nevoza just swings. He's 3 for 3 on these fights on the door. 4 for 4 with a flawless round end defensive half. What is going on with NC State? Absolutely beautiful plays from UNCC, I must admit. With a lot of their players really coming alive, specifically Nevoza, Bears, and Waffles, both sitting on 8 to 7 kills apiece.
Oh man, sorry, I'm just allergic to bad siege. Oh. Yeah, no, I'm not excited about just losing all these gunfights. Like what? Guys, we gotta pick it up here.
Especially with players of this pedigree on NC State, you'd expect them to, win these gunfights more often, but it's like they're getting caught with their pants around their ankles.
It really would seem like that, and it's frustrating too because we know exactly what the players are capable of. They've been putting in the time, they've been putting in the hours, and we know that they are capable of much, much more than what they're showing right now. So it's disappointing. It's like I'm like a disappointed parent right now. It's like I know you can do so much better. You just need to apply yourself. And we're not seeing the application of themselves. However, Siege is a completely different game on the other side of the building.
Yeah.
Now
we're on
they're defending.
We're on the more favored side, especially for a team like NC State, and especially on a map that they're comfortable with. Hopefully they're able to pull something a little bit better. With the difference in playstyles here, where you have more gunfights that the enemy team has to initiate, I think NC State should have a much easier time picking gunfights, but it's another thing completely whether or not they're going to win said gunfights.
Exactly, and that's really what we're seeing is NC State are taking gunfights that make sense, but just not winning them, which is confounding, of course, for a team of this pedigree. And really, we're hoping to see that turns around here. But a 5-1 split, not a good position to be in here.
Not at all.
They're extending here into Statue, though, so that will give an opportunity for more gunfights. And you can see Charlotte not taking, but they're being more thorough and they're being more cognizant of the potential dangers and pitfalls like a Solus down below. Like, they're not hopping into the building and standing in one place where the impacted shot, you know, whatever could be done to them through the floor there. Being very careful here to be...
Just doing a very good job of clearing out very thoroughly. But NC State, NC State's trying to stop this, but they're just not. Nothing is going right for them at the moment.
Oh, that's a difficult kill to not be able to get for Krish. As Waffles now has firmly established this top red control.
Azteca, he's playing very patiently at the moment. They have no idea he's here, but the moment that they do, he is dead to rights.
Oh, but he might be able to get a second pick here. Oh, but
he gets
trigger
two.
discipline. Oh, but he gets two. Oh, and he's run out of ammo. Oh, but
he almost got three. He does a lot of damage, so yeah, that's really good from Azteca to get two players, especially with the Osa down. It's very valuable. However, all it does is equalize the game at this point with a minute 15 left in the round.
I think it's a good hero play because now Charlotte, really their confidence is shaken. They're like, okay, we got to redrone everything. We got to rethink exactly what we're doing. What Fireness needs to do here is get back to site, ensure that his teammates have the full support of the 3v3 on site here as Charlotte are really establishing themselves with their presence in, either presence potentially soon in Vault, but he's not coming back. He believes that whatever he's doing down below is going to be better than what he can do on site, and
I think now that we're looking at it, I think NC State is playing for a plant denial with the smoke on site and the souls below to try and stop a plant from going off.
I think
with 35 seconds left, this might actually work. Vault is open though, with that angle closed off. With top red closed off with the smoke grenades, this might actually work out for NC State if Charlotte can't pull something out of their butts.
Hardison has a Hardison angle of play here. He is deep in it, but as long as he gets this third smoke off, he got this.
And that's over. Yeah.
And more than he needs on the round. This is over, and he gets a second. And I mean, simply Charlotte can't win. And I mean, I had doubts, but the doubts were unfounded. NC State picking up their first defense in, I mean, I want to call that pretty convincing fashion. Right at the beginning of the round, but I'll say I'm convinced.
Yeah, I'm convinced as well. The hero play from Azteca went a long way in order to try and get that round sorted. But once Charlotte hit the site, the last three remaining players for NC State did a really good job of just making sure that Charlotte couldn't actually feel comfortable pushing the site, resulting in that last 7 seconds of the round where the Lion had to push through the smoke to try and get the plant off, and it just didn't work out. Oh, not the Lion, the Ace, sorry. Very good job from NC State in the late round there. However, I do think there is a lot to be gained from that early round aggression.
I really liked that play from. I really liked that play from Azteca. The knowledge to know that the knowledge to know that Charlotte had that weakness in their droning, and the absolute audacity to go and exploit it that confidently. I mean, that is crazy. That is absurd. That is. It's so ballsy, and it worked, and that's what I really like to see Charlotte from the NC State squad. Is just the confidence to make those kinds of plays, and that's the kind of confidence that I really want to see returning to the life and soul of this team here, as they found another round. They found their defensive round, and I'm sure that will do wonders for the morale.
Agreed. So, Charlotte is now attacking Trophy Statue with the Nook in the basement again. With Bears is in the basement once again, and it looks like they're going for it.
Bears is in the basement. Woo! Bears is in the basement.
Looks like they want to try and clear it from under the site at the moment, trying to probably deny one of the C4s, specifically from the Mozzie. But it looks like looks like they're foregoing the full map second floor clear in order to just try and consolidate their take into making sure there's no nitros below and taking master. I'm not entirely against it either.
Oh, that was potentially really bad for Fireness there. He wasn't able to hang on to his life there, but hanging on to his life he does, and he gets away relatively unscathed. What was potentially a very scary engagement. I don't think he knew the Nook was there.
Not at all. I can sincerely doubt that he would have expected the Nook to have come up through the basement. Maybe pressure from the ash on that window, but definitely not. Do you think that?
No.
I was wondering, do you think that Charlotte is trying to take under not only to deny the Nitro, but also to try and get these claws off of the wall. Now I'm thinking about it.
I think that's the objective. I think that's the reason that they brought the Ash down here is they want to start ripping open the floor from below. They want to start trying to find these cades, and Fireness is going to be instrumental in preventing that here. He ran away, but he did not run away. He's still present here, and Ash not droning him out here unless there's a
No. He's playing very patiently to try and catch these Charlotte players, but Novozo seems like he has an idea. He takes a little bit of damage from Fireness.
And Fireness will be wise to just completely get out of dodge here. Just completely take the HP that he won and confidence that he managed to instill in his teammates and the confidence he took from Charlotte and just leave with that in his hands. And I think that's exactly what he did. He's the site now. With 43 seconds left, how are Charlotte... Oh, he's re-aggressing! Oh, he's re-aggressing! Oh, and he gets a frag! He gets the trade. That is a mental trade. The Ash is off the board now, and Charlotte really going to have to start pushing quickly here. Novozo picking up it. Well, looking the wrong way as Azteca decapitates Novozo. 23 seconds left, and this wall isn't open, and Charlotte are just going to have to flood the site door. Well, you don't want to do that with Cali, to be honest. No matter how good you are with Cali.
The smoke does go down here. 10 seconds left, but he did get a smoke grenade off before he went down. So, looks like it is going to end up be around NC State's favor unless Malefish is able to do something. Doesn't look likely. Oh. Ends with a round win for NC State, and it looks like a very convincing one, even more so than the last round. NC State looks like they're picking up some speed here. Yes, even with the Kali and the Ash build, they weren't able to get their claws off of the wall, which is a very interesting situation. Perhaps NC State had a very... Maybe they had the funny... They actually did use the Kali charges on the wall while we were looking below, but they
Kali, but they didn't use the Ash down below. I'm not really... I saw Ash use their charge on the hatch, but other than that, really? Is that the best place for the Ash to be?
Maybe. Well, who knows at this point, because of that flank from Fireness below, who knows how that disrupted the initial plan for Charlotte.
I mean, it might have, but like, I'm just really not sure. They spent a lot of time on that down control, and I really didn't see really much of an invigorating idea as to why. I didn't really see a particularly thought-provoking reason. They just kind of seemed to take the stance of, oh, we'll take below and then walk up the stairs, and they're not going to expect that. Like, no, of course they're going to expect that. They've got all their bases covered. It's a decent of the site. So now they are going to be in the basement. That's where this time around here, as being sent to the tertiary site of Villa, kitchen, and dining. Charlotte found success on this site, but we'll see if NC State can do this.
I think NC State shouldn't be doing too bad here with Solus and the Pulse giving them very good information on where Charlotte's coming from. However, Charlotte is bringing 2 soft breachers as well as a fuse. So if NC State gives up control of the second floor here, they must be very careful and very confident in order to hold this site.
Well, Chalmer, you know me. You know exactly how I feel about Fuse. The best operator in the game.
Smoking is going out early in bathroom.
This is an interesting tactic as Tekka taking a more aggressive approach to an operator that we typically see assigned to the dude play at denial. Instead, it's you can't come in the building denial. And, well, it's going to work to kind of slow down this push from Charlotte, but for how long is Bozo? Oh, confidently taking that pick on Azteca, and I mean, what are you going to do about that, Azteca? That's just an L.
Yeah, I will say, using the smokes early to try and deny the initial entry into the building seems like a very good idea, especially because NC State doesn't really have much in place to try and deny the entry once they're actually in the building. But even regardless, NC State loses control of the second floor, and they're down 2 men right off the bat.
Yeah, and that C4 from Trish also gonna miss now. NC State having just the C4 in the pocket of Robert to try to find any impact.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you there, but I also just noticed that Pulse is running the shotgun.
Interesting. We do know KPG 2000's affinity for that shotgun. So. I'm interested to see if he can make that work in any capacity. Charlotte being careful too. Oh.
There's one.
And he's gonna get a frag through the floor. Woo!
Woo!
Let's go.
One. All right, so now we're reaching the last minute of the round, and even with a buck and a sledge, it doesn't look like Charlotte's done too much in the terms of vertical.
They really haven't, and KPG getting very aggressive on these angles, punishing Charlotte's lack of movement. If you stop moving, the shotgun's gonna get you. That is the policy that Krish is laying down here. However, Charlotte responds with the policy of, we're just gonna take your HP. It's fireness. Chip down to but a single bullet of damage here. With 30 seconds left to play, though, Charlotte is gonna need to convert this top floor control into an execute. And
I just don't see how it's gonna happen.
Entrenched. They're very well entrenched in these positions, and Charlotte really not giving any indication of where this attack is going to come from. 2 drop from Laundry here, but Rob close on the door, potentially able to punish it.
That's one.
Gets one, gets the second! Jackal, how do you lose that fight?
He wasn't even looking at you, man.
Impossible 3v5 position.
Absolutely beautiful from the NC State players there. Very well played from them.
Wow. I want to talk about that defense, because... What? Why? How was that supposed to work? It didn't. It wasn't supposed to work. It wasn't working. And then Charlotte simply lost track of the timer. They got distracted by all these elements downstairs, the KPG 2000 shotgun through the floor, and not really having any drone intel to really convert any of their control into an execute onto the site. The drone intel is nice for the roam clear, but you also need drone intel for a site as large as Kitchen. You need to know where the defenders are sitting, and they had no earthly idea. So they dropped their deaths with 17 seconds left, and I mean, when there's a million different angles a defender can be from, you aren't expected to win that fight, and we saw it quite clearly. NC State immediately was a pretty desperate position into something completely winnable. KPG bringing it from a 3v5 to a 3v4, and that was incredibly important to ensure that multiple pairs of people couldn't double up with a spare person to stab them in the back. And so, Charlotte's attack completely collapsed from that point. They lost sight of the execute. An attack has to be a roam clear and an execute. We only saw one of those elements, and it's confusing because that defense was falling apart. So it's confusing to see that Charlotte really weren't able to capitalize on that.
Hardison took early damage, by the way. I'm not entirely sure where from. I don't know. But yeah, I agree with what you're saying. Initially, that NC State defense looked like it was going to fall apart very quickly. However, they're able to bring it back because of Charlotte's misplay with the time. I do think, however, another thing that happened during the execute is you saw all the players remaining for Charlotte drop that hatch, and nobody was actually watching those vertical holes that they made, rendering it pretty much useless for the side execute.
Exactly, they didn't get a single pick through that vert, and I didn't even really see anything in terms of utility denial or position denial from the fuse. That's the entire reason that you bring the fuse. The fuse can deny so much area, and it's just absolutely clear so much utility, and we really didn't see much of any of that. So it really seemed like an abuse of the tools available to Charlotte. As we head now into round 10 of this match, NC State have recovered well, doing, of course, a perfect rotation of the site on their tour of the villa. Waffles almost losing his life to a very well-placed Thorn Trap by Azteca. And yet another great read, particularly from Azteca. Azteca placed that there knowing that the Osa shield goes there, and Osa will be locked into an animation while doing so. That is another just great example of being in the Charlotte defense and doing something about it. And really that adaptation is the key, recovering from a 1-5 deficit to now being 4-5 with a confident round, history. Really punishing Charlotte for I'm not even going to call them mistakes, just punishing Charlotte.
Yeah, it looks. Yeah, NC State's really come alive on this defense, and they're not only are they. Here comes Solus.
Could be a free.
Let's see if he's able to do it.
Not
at all.
So
unfortunate.
Close.
This Solus is a menace, by the way, to the attack for Charlotte. Really just poking their feet over and over again, trying to make sure that they're never comfortable wherever they sit. Charlotte, with 40 seconds left on the round, are actually pressuring the site now. Pretty good time here, but they only really have that one doorway to come through. They haven't opened up vault yet.
They had the absolute squad stacked up on that doorway, and Well, they've filtered out around now to try to take 90 control and door control, but with the smoke holding down that door, what are you gonna do about it? The pressure has to come from 90, and well, the pressure is no longer gonna come from 90 as Robert simply wins his fight on stacks there, and now. Oh, Waffles is in sight actually, so.
Oh no!
Yeah, clearly NC State not knowing.
6 seconds left. Plant going down. The Solus is below, able to kill the planter, and that's it.
That's the round. And
that is.
Wow.
These defenses have been looking super solid from NC State, really just taking it over and over again to Charlotte, and no real response from Charlotte at all. It seems like once Charlotte loses their ideal clear, they're kind of lost about what to do next. They end up stalling out.
Reminds you of something, doesn't it?
I have no idea what you could mean.
I love to poke, but hey, it's 5-5 now, so I mean, not much room to poke here. 2 more rounds from NC State, 2 more flawless defenses, and we could see the end of Villa after being down 1-5 at the turn of the half. We could see a complete return to form, and I think that's incredible, actually.
That would be an amazing comeback, but it also goes to show the strength of NC State on defenses rather than their attacks. They looked, on the attacks, if you remember, they looked very just lost and confused and very disjointed. However, on these defenses, they're a well-oiled machine, really working together and playing off of each other in a way that they couldn't on the attack.
And I think one of the most important facets of this NC State team that we are seeing coming alive, Fireness down, I believe, like 1-6 at the turn of the half, now 6-6, completely even, recovering. And he has been putting in so much legwork that KD does not even come close to beginning to describe the level of value that he's to his team, quite frankly. This Solus plays down from below, these Mozzie roams constantly pressuring Charlotte from the back. It's really brought a lot of value to the team. What we saw, essentially, is now Fireness is here to play, and, well, you really can't let...
Not at all. Fireness is doing such a good job, just stalling for time, scraping every second he can out of that timer. And at the end of the day, that Fireness, I feel like single-handedly is the reason why these takes have gone to the last second, because in the back of their minds, Charlotte is just thinking, where is this Mozzie going to come from? Where's the Solus going to come from? We haven't seen him in so long. Where is he? And now we're moving on to another attack for Charlotte, where you have this Mozzie below, and he is just absolutely in their heads. Where is he? What are they gonna do?
Hopefully my microphone sounds a little better. Do you notice any difference?
It's a little bit deeper now. Your voice
Hold on,
very
let me
clear.
see. Sound better? Sound even more better?
Sounds about the same, but you know, it was always clear to begin with. So.
All right, I'm just making sure that the audience is able to hear me.
Oh, it's a lot louder now, actually.
Okay, all right.
Impact EMP is going out. Impact EMP is going out on triple, and they completely missed both of the claws, which are located above the wall there. Very interesting situation for them to be in. Do you think Charlotte's going to be able to figure out where those claws are?
I think I believe in the power of funny games, personally.
There we go. That's one angle that can be open, but Ace isn't ready. He's not going to be here in time to get those charges off before the K cloud goes off. And now it's wasted. There's no more impact EMPs. They've completely wasted their opportunity by not communicating clearly when they're going to go for this. And now they have to go through all these pre-sighted angles. Where's... There's a guy in the room.
Absolutely. Oh, Robert here with the potential with this T4. He's going to toss it out here. It's not going to but it's going to get Betos. It's going to clear that. Difficult angle for the defense to deal with. Well, there's plenty more for the attack to deal with as we see Aztec. Oh, missed the head.
Locking a hard place here, and Astro gets the whip, gets one. And NC State just across the map is just able to deal with Charlotte in a way that they weren't really expecting, I guess.
Is Bears able to be revived here, or is Bears down and out?
I don't believe so. I think Bears is over by Wolf, if I remember correctly.
No, I'm not sure where he is. And, well, it doesn't really seem like it matters as Robert decapitates Navozo and shuts down the reign of the terror of the Charlotte side. Navozo and Waffles really powering through here. And, well, it's just left to Mama Fish in a 1v4. NC State low on HP and pretty much all facets, though. So it is technically possible, although improbable. With 10 seconds left here, I would... Last possible category. Azteca moves it into the impossible category as NC State picking up round 6 And, well,
Match
one more round to
point.
go, and it's round 7. 7 is the key magical number, and NC State can hop, skip, and dodge out of it. Head over to the second map. Hopefully, that'll come soon.
I will say, I feel like that round came down, even though NC State played that perfectly, I feel like that came down to Charlotte kind of misplaying across the board there with I think a lot of solo play coming on the other side, which resulted in Bears going down and I believe Waffles. And then as we could see on that master push, there was a little bit of disjoint with the impact EMP and the ace charges, resulting in them not being able to open that wall the way they wanted to. Seems like a little bit of a slip up there for Charlotte, who looked so good at the beginning of this game.
Charlotte really are collapsing. It really does seem like they're not able to win these gunfights. And it's very similar to the way that NC State were playing in the attacks. So,
do you think this is more a result of Charlotte's playstyle, or just the nature of attacking being a lot harder than defending on this one?
I think this is the. I mean, honestly, this is the symptom of the way that the game is. Of course, defense a lot more, a lot easier, of course, to manage, and a lot easier to have is playing with NC State here, somewhat of a new roster. So it's really difficult for them. Really difficult for them to potentially manage these really
very complex and very these like complex and kind of wide attack. Also, I want to say your mic is like cutting out every once in a while, like mid-sentence.
Got you. Okay. I was actually pulling up the stream here so I could hear how loud because I wanted to make sure it was all right. It's a
little loud, but I don't know. For me, I'm used to loud noises, so I don't know how bad it is for other people. Regardless, we're going into what could be the last round of defense for NC State here. Oh, with Bears getting an early kill on Hardison, probably from somewhere. I'm not entirely sure how he got that kill, but he did manage to get it. Now we're back to the tertiary side of kitchen dining. NC State not starting off very strong here. However, Charlotte is starting to get their clear going here on the second floor, starting with their vertical control. But Aztec is still up here, gets the Jackal, runs away. Not entirely sure if Charlotte will be able to get a response to Azteca. So it's a free kill on the Jackal, who would be imperative to try and get some of these roamers off of the vertical control.
And look at this, Azteca, he's not leaving. Hopefully this microphone sounds even better than the one before. He's not leaving. He's just absolutely tucked up in this corner here. And I don't know if Charlotte have redroned this. I wouldn't certainly redrone this. I mean, with a minute and 20 seconds left. And no, completely looking the wrong way. He's going to come around this corner, and he does spot him. But Azteca...
Oh, but he gets the kill! He gets the kill, and then... but then Bears comes in.
Oh, but the damage has been done to the structure of Charlotte's attack now. They have lost both the IQ and the Jackal. The information will be lacking, but you know who does still have information? KPG 2000 with the pull.
And the Soul is on fire once again.
C4 no longer in pocket, but shotgun in hand, and, well, we could see the punishment of that as we could see either a C4
on these
or a shotgun here. He's really looking...
30 seconds left in the round. What is Charlotte going to do now?
This is similar to what we saw out of the first kitchen attack. We saw a whole lot of nothing after the was established. We're really not sure what they're doing.
They need to push laundry here, but they also need to make sure they key somebody on the vertical holes to try and catch the people. Looks like they're gonna bring 2 down here to laundry again, but once again, NC State just not aware of this push coming in from laundry.
JPG just absolutely spamming through the floor here, but Robert gonna pick up that second frag and gonna pick up. Where's the last attacker?
NC State closes out the map with a very convincing defense, a perfect 6-0 defensive half. In order to close out the map. Absolutely beautiful.
What? Where was the attack? What happened?
There was no attack. The way that Charlotte was playing, it was like the attack was on the second floor, trophy statue, but at the end of the day, they were just on the wrong side. They lost too many men, kind of tripping them up. Absolutely beautiful. Even with 3 players on the Charlotte side getting 12 kills, they just were not able to close it out.
Well, that's going to be Villa for you. Don't go anywhere. We are going to be back with more. This is going potentially but most certainly at least to the second. We'll be back with Clubhouse in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Bye.
Welcome back, everybody, to map 2 of this incredible showdown between Charlotte University and NC State University. The showdown.
Microphone's cutting out.
And my microphone just completely gives up. We are now in the battle of the Carolina.
You want me to take over at least for this beginning part? Oh man. Yeah, after a very interesting map 1 where NC State comes back from a 5-1 deficit on the attack. Yeah, after NC State comes back from a 5-1 deficit to win all 6 defensive rounds from the map, when you hear a map 2 clubhouse, NC State's map pick, but Charlotte has to pick defense, as opposed to how NC State managed to pick attack on Villa. Didn't really work out for them, so we'll see how it goes here. Mm-hmm. I do believe it's going to be more of the same, however, from NC State, with a not very great attack, but a very strong defense.
Exactly, and hopefully my microphone is going to stop cutting out here a little bit more as I'm now manually setting the gain. So apologies to the viewers if in any way, shape, or form we get any kind of background noise coming from my microphone. Chalmer, am I letting through a whole lot of background noise?
It's present, but not too bad.
Okay. If I turn off my fan, hopefully that makes it a little better.
Probably would. So in between maps, by the way, our dear viewers, we did have a substitution from NC State with Fireness coming out for the one and the only Reinforce. Probably, I think, the only returning member from the NC State Red Squad from last semester, if I'm correct, Maggie?
Did KPG play? No.
Not for the Red. Not
for Red last semester. Yeah, I believe he is the only returning player from NC State Red last semester, of course. That last semester's roster being Predator, Rai, Reinforce, Babs, and well, it was, who was the last one? Reinforce?
Was it
no, Reinforce, Babs.
Was it Rob?
It was not Robert. It was Rai, Pred, and then Pred left, so it was me.
Taco?
No.
I don't remember.
It was. I have no clue who the 5th person is. I am so sorry to whoever. I'm gonna look in the A-team server and see if I can remember.
Yeah.
But
and while you're doing that, we do go into the first round here. Charlotte is picking basement to begin with. Very standard bans coming out from both sides: Jackal, Flores, Cade, and Mira. Rolling into this first round in the basement, and Charlotte has a pretty standard lineup. Solus and the Valkyrie providing a lot of information for the side of the defenders here early. And on the side of the attackers, it looks like more of the same about pretty much in terms of how they were playing it last round. However, with the addition of Reinforce, it might be a little bit more explosive on the entry, so who knows what's going to happen.
Welcome back, everybody, to map 2 of this incredible showdown between Charlotte University and NC State University. The showdown. Unfortunately, we were not. And my microphone just completely gives up. We are now in the battle of the Carolina.
Miss you, bud. Hopefully, can't wait for you to come back. Alright, well, going into the first attacking round here for NC State. Very standard setup, not a very extended roam from Charlotte either. Except, though, I say that, but Bear, I believe, is roaming upstairs in Master at the moment. See where he's at. Yeah, very aggressive from Lazy Eyes, and then Reinforce starts the map swing.
I thought Reinforce lost that, to be honest with you. The camera cut away, and I was like, oh, Reinforce getting absolutely fried. But alas, it was Lazy Ice getting fried by Reinforce. Reinforce has very quickly worked his way here into stock. That explosive entry that you were talking about really showing its face here.
Yeah. And so, especially losing that Jaeger early, probably the one who's going to show a lot of face on those first and second floors, leaves the map pretty much wide open for NC State, if I'm aware.
It looks like it, although they are tentative to take that map control initially. So very slow to take in, but now Aztec is making his way into bar now as hopefully, yeah, my mic sounds good.
Yeah, you're good.
Cool. All right.
It looks like,
to make sure we workshopped that before we got too deep into
yeah.
As Hardison has worked his way into kitchen, he needs to be cognizant of the C4s, but Navozo has already either placed his or used his. It looks like he just used his to try to Ivana trick.
And, so no, it was Bears using an impact trick, trying to impact trick, and then, oh, no, yeah, he did use the C4 to try and get another one off. Very interesting.
So C4less now powerless to stop this vertical play, however, not powerless to absolutely decapitate Robert. The kill leader of the last map now no longer involved in this round, but hopefully his presence will not be missed with the addition of Reinforce here, as NC State beginning their vertical work for as quickly as Charlotte forfeit everything but the site. I really was hoping that vertical play would be a little bit quicker here. Hardison just barely missing the timing on the dirt player there, almost finding a free frag, but instead he'll just simply find a lot of damage on Navozo as Navozo vacates that area and heads back towards box 3.
With Charlotte's starting to kind of get boxed in from this vertical play, it looks like NC State is angling for a kitchen drop for the plant, and you by the press. Oh, I'll let you handle this because this is starting to get juicy.
And now in a 3v2 position, Reinforce going to find his second frag here. Azteca walking in, not going to see the defender to his right, as now it's down to Bears in a 1v2. Of course, NC State dropped into sight here. We're going to expect a plant from KPG, probably in dark or on box 2 here very soon. But he needs to get that started. Only 19 seconds left as Bears is now looking to aggress. And he's not going to find anything whatsoever as Reinforce absolutely shuts down that retake before it even begins. NC State very confidently taking the basement, courtesy of the addition of Reinforce.
Reinforce coming out swinging, getting 4 kills in the first round that he's playing in this map. Oh, Reinforce bringing up the Charlotte land.
Talking smack first round already. And don't like that. I'll be honest with you. I'm not a big kind of trash talk guy. I don't think it's very conducive to a positive experience in the community.
Probably not.
So I'm not a huge fan, but you know, when you get a 4K in the first round, you at least understand.
You get a little bit of leeway.
You get a little bit of leeway, but hopefully we don't see this match turn toxic. Is Charlotte now abandoning any hopes and dreams of replaying that basement site? They determined, you know, no way, we lost that too quickly. We're going to go ahead and get that up. We're going to try our luck here with Jim and Bedroom, a site that has slowly worked its way into the meta as a secondary bomb site. I've noticed this now casting a couple of Clubhouse games. The preference is not for CC Cash, and instead it's for Jim Bedroom. How do you feel about that?
I do enjoy it personally. As in my personal experience playing Clubhouse, when I'm playing on this like the CCTV cache site, it feels very claustrophobic. While in Master, you have a lot more room to kind of spread out, set up, and it just feels a lot more comfortable. I can see why it's I see why teams would prefer this map over or this site over CCTV cache in recent history. English is hard nowadays. Anyways. And especially with this initial take here, it looks like NC State is aware, but Bears is looking for a very cheeky peek from dirt. It doesn't look like NC State is aware of this either.
No, it really doesn't.
Everything good?
Yeah, sorry.
Oh.
I tuned into the stream here, and suddenly, for some reason, despite turning my mic up, now I'm just completely, you can't hear me in the stream. So that's interesting.
Very interesting. Well, while we're doing that, I'll just keep talking here. Azteca manages to get the entry onto Navozo. Takes a lot of damage in response for it, but Azteca playing these windows like a madman. Absolutely unrelenting pressure from Azteca onto these master players and sent them scrambling into various corners of the room. Well, actually, it's forced them completely out of the site for the most part, with NC State now starting to get their work done here on the jacuzzi side. And Bears takes a lot of damage returning to site, trying to take the fights, but Robert is in gym now, if I remember seeing that correctly. Robert in a very active position here on site, just working his way in, getting as many kills as he can.
Gosh, just absolutely, with the Gone out too, he thought he had a second armor. he really wanted to go for it, but KBG getting the plant down, and now it's the post plant. Now the defenders become the attackers, and they need to reaggress here. Lazy, Ice, and Waffles in the 2v3. KPG posted up in an incredibly difficult position to fight in this post plant. This vertical angle is really, really nasty to fight for the defenders. It's really not a good position to get into a position where you can fight that vertical angle, and well, it might not even get that far. As with 21 seconds left, Waffles is stuck in a 1v3, and I heavily doubt he's even going to find one as Azteca aggresses through the window and picks up that frag.
NC State did a very good job. If you notice, the last 2 remaining players from Charlotte were actually the 2 players who were off-site at the time. NC State pretty much completely bypassing whatever setup that Charlotte had on that CCTV cache side, and instead just basically forced it through Jacuzzi. Robert enters through sight and just absolutely makes his presence known, and at the end of the day, he just smacks the words I can't say. Sorry about that. I lost the plot there.
Well, we all do at some point or another, and I just wish my microphone worked, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it must be
That's
very awkward for our viewers here to just hear me talking to myself.
Well, you can hear me, but I'm just completely drowned out by the.
Oh, okay.
by the
So we
sound of
should
the
probably turn up Mr. Magikarp in the
I'm
Discord
gonna
voice
turn
channel.
myself
See what
up.
happens. So it looks like while you're doing that, Charlotte has returned down to the basement site with actually it's a very different setup from them. Instead of bringing the Solus and the Jaeger, now they're bringing the Maestro and the Goyo. Looks like they're trying to stop this unrelenting, very quick pressure from NC State and trying to stall it out. And especially with how NC State these first two attacks went, I don't necessarily blame them with how Robert and Reinforced, this duo of entries. Oh, I say entries, but Robert's on the Lion, more of a secondary entry here. Absolutely just blazing through whatever setup that Charlotte has. Works out very well for them. Entering into this round here, NC State going for a very standard take here. Getting ready to start the kitchen angles early and doing their due diligence there. You see three members here gathered around kitchen, which I assume the other two members of NC State probably pushing in from the garage side or second floor, trying to force out any roamers. But unbeknownst to them, Charlotte has decided to go for a 5-man hold at the site, pretty much giving up all control of the upper 2 floors. I don't necessarily agree with this.
Just with the way that NC State are playing so far, I do think they have identified that bunker strategy, and well, I'm interested to see if they actually end up capitalizing on it. Of course, that's an interesting little Hibana pellet thing there. I don't think that was supposed to happen, and NC State will be confused about that. But all the same, they should still be able to get this hatch open, as Hibana has plenty of pellet to stop Navozo from being able to accomplish that. However, Bears has plenty of bullet in that Vector to take off the head of Azteca, and despite forfeiting the entire top side to NC State, they do not forfeit the kills to NC State. Now, going into this round with a distinct man count advantage with 1:30 to play.
And it looks like even with 1:30 left, NC State's just now starting their vertical control with the buck. It's very... let's say it's a very standard timing for this, but with how little control... Oh, never mind. NC State's being very impressive with these vertical holds right now, with a lot of damage onto Lesion and a kill onto Buff to begin with.
Oh, and Robert!
Oh,
is he just gonna get in here? He just needs to find that frag on Mama Fish.
Oh, I think it's very possible that Robert gets in here.
Oh, especially with Reinforced just completely wrapping around.
And just ignoring the person playing blue. Oh, but the person playing blue gets both of them, and he just... A little bit of extra spray in the Aldo for good measure. Unfortunately, just lines up for those two, for the Maestro playing in blue.
That is an unfortunate bit of positioning, but NC State's still in a 2v3. This is absolutely still recoverable. And it's going to start potentially with KPG finding this player in the back of bar, unable to do so. And with 5 seconds left until that Goyo denies plant. Oh, yeah, that Goyo is completely denying the plant spot there. However, KPG works his way all the way into the back of the site, and this will actually be pretty difficult for the defenders to punish. Oh, but now in a 1v2, KPG needs to find these frags and not the pick, and they're not going to give it to him. Lazy Ice is going to be caught out on the side. They gave him one, but he needs to find Waffles. He knows the position of Waffles potentially, but oh, so close, but it simply wasn't meant to be. CLT going to pick up their first of the defenses on Clubhouse, and we think it would usually come a little bit sooner, of course, but nevertheless,
better late than never.
Better late than never, for sure.
I will say it did look very desperate for Charlotte at that at certain points of that round, specifically when Reinforced and Robert were actually absolutely storming Armory there. And with a lucky, well, I don't want to say lucky, but very good positioning from the Maestro, able to take out both of them before they can really secure their position on the site for the rest of the team to follow up.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
Gonna head over now to CCTV and Cache, what would appear to be the tertiary site of choice for Charlotte here on this map. Of course, Clubhouse, a map comprising particularly of 3 good sites and 1 bad one, and so it's really just a case of what order you would like to do the 3 good sites in. But as we were discussing earlier in the game here, CCTV really falling out of favor with the community. It is not the site of choice, really, to start out the map, and you can see that with Charlotte. It is round 4, and this is the first time that we will be seeing CCTV. If they win it, it will be the last time we see CCTV on this round rotation, as with 2 more rounds after this to play, it is impossible for it to come back unless they lose it.
Yeah, and judging by the setup that Charlotte has, it looks like it's a very standard setup once again. Nothing really sticks out to me initially aside from maybe this Valkyrie, but with how prevalent Fierce has been with his nitro charges in these last 2 maps, I don't see this necessarily being a bad thing. He does love his basements.
He really does, and we saw it, yeah, again on Villa, and now here today in Clubhouse. We're really seeing Bears utilizing the vertical pressure for those C4s. And, well, we're going to see horizontal pressure as the CCTV wall is blown wide open by KPG 2000 himself. He really loves playing on this Osa shield. When he can't play it as Osa, he'll play it as another operator. He is absolutely just a big fan of that position. And, well, can you blame him? It's a very strong position. And on the other side of the map, Reinforce going to find a very strong frag onto Waffles, one of the highest performers from that last map, now off the board.
And with Waffles down, that's the entirety of Master side pretty much open. NC State could rotate over and it's just, he is just going for it, isn't he? Reinforce taking the control of the construction is immediately pressuring site and gets 3 kills. That is all of the site control for...
That's all of the site control as Navozo's worming across Gym Raptors, or excuse me.
Yeah, this is just absolutely explosive from Reinforce. Just opens the site completely up, allowing NC State to come in and play. Sorry, I'm just confused about how Reinforce managed to do that.
Bear's gonna get the ping, but it's not gonna be on the right side of the wall, and KPG successfully getting this man down. In a 4v1, Bear's gonna find damage onto the first, but no frag on the first, and, well... In a 4v1, this looks very unlikely to happen. So, Chalmer, do you want to walk us through kind of what happened there on that attack there? Because I'm really not sure what happened other than Reinforce go kill.
Yeah, so initially what we saw from there is NC State very quickly went to go open the breach while Reinforce pretty much solo pushed over from the Master side. Got his initial frag onto Waffles, I think who was holding construction door into Master, and from there he just took whatever space that Charlotte was giving him and just dominated it, taking 1, 2, 3 gunfights back to back to back and winning every single one, not even taking a single point of damage, I believe. And from that initial push, NC State was able to flood the site, albeit the diffuser was stuck outside on the balcony due to the vertical pressure from Valkyrie, but that was only momentarily once the nitro came out. As you saw, Thermite ran in and managed to finish off Navozo, who was playing on the CCTV window. Overall, the aggressiveness and the sheer pretty much confidence from Reinforce pretty much tore that round wide open for NC State.
And that's exactly what we were expecting to see a little more of last map, you know, on the attacking side, that explosive take. But unfortunately, the guns weren't coming alive. But as NC State is warmed up here and Reinforce really instilling confidence in the troops here, NC State are looking utterly unstoppable, absolutely dominating these rounds here from start to finish here. Reinforce with 8 kills, averaging 2 kills a round so far. And it's not like anybody on NC State is exactly slacking either. They just don't have kills because the kills aren't, there's no opportunity to get them. So we're going to have to see how Charlotte reacts to that here with really, it's difficult. It really is difficult. And it's a depressing position to be in. And this is the kind of the position that NC State was in last map, this kind of this hard, unfortunate, soul-crushing position, and you really just have to kind of fight through it, get through the bad to get to the good, as the wise Rusties used to say to us at NC State.
Yes. What did he say to us, actually, Maggie? What are the wise words of wisdom from Mr. Rusties?
The wise words of Rusties. You got to get through the bad to get to the good.
Ah, yes.
The words of encouragement.
I see. Well, unfortunately, I don't think there's going to be any good coming for Charlotte in the next few rounds, just because they're starting on what is usually the preferred side for Clubhouse on defense. And the longer this goes, once they hit the attack, I don't think it's going to go any better for them.
Well, this is something that we talked about, of course, when NC State was on Villa. We said this is the side that they prefer, and so this is really desperate that we're seeing from them, that they're really, not winning these rounds. But of course, Siege is a completely different game on the other side of the board. So for all we know, we're just seeing an incredibly attacker-sided Clubhouse. We won't be able to know until that transition comes across, but as you were saying, I am inclined to agree with what you're saying, however, as a partisan. Disgusting! You can't do that! That's just not allowed, as Waffles meets his early demise in this round. Oh my gosh.
Waffles been taken out early, I believe, the last 3 rounds.
Tromer, I think you were right. I don't see much going their way. That's just... Oh man.
If you also look at the positioning from Charlotte right now, they aren't in positions to really play off of each other right now, which results in Novozo getting absolutely destroyed and no real response. One player coming up top main into Master, but aside from that, Nitro from below does wonders, but once again, there's just no real chance for the Charlotte players to really play off of each other. It's kind of just a desperate sprawl for the site, and hopefully they get their frags.
Yeah, now in a 3v1 here. I mean, Lacy is not even able to convert that frag from the Frost. Matt, you gotta at least get that one. Come on now. Not even putting in enough bullets to kill somebody who is on death's door themselves, as Charlotte are unable to convert their preferred site into a round win. And well, we're going down to basement for the 3rd time, and Charlotte are really hoping that this can be converted into a second win for them. We talk about round splits and we talk about preferred sides on the map, and generally speaking, of course, there are exceptions to every rule. This is Siege after all, but it looks like, really we're expecting, in 9 times out of 10, we want to see like a 4-2 split in favor of the defense. We're expecting the defense to win 4 rounds and the attack to win 2. That is usually a split that attackers and defenders are both comfortable with. A 3-3 split on a particularly attacker-sided affair. For example,
Chalet,
a clubhouse. A clubhouse without a Thatcher. Or with a Thatcher, rather. The attack has the Thatcher available to them. We would consider that a pretty attacker-sided ban consideration. So with that in mind, a 3-3 half is still, both sides could accept that as relatively equal. But when you allow the attack to get 4 rounds on a map that is as defender-sided as Clubhouse, you can talk about attacker-sided and defender-sided particular matches, but this... You have to call this lost for the defense at this point. You have to say that this position is losing.
It is. I would have to agree with you, not only because of that round count, but because of how convincing these rounds have been in the favor of NC State. It's just been extremely, in the favor of NC State. What is going on there?
And they're not even bringing the Thatcher that we're talking about. The Thatcher's been up this whole time, and they don't even need it.
Yeah.
They're like, no, we'll just Hibana it open.
Where is... Oh, wow, that was inside of the plates. Very interesting. Very cool.
Novozo's secret Valk camps getting exposed one by one on this stream. You've seen it here first for all the people VOD reviewing. That's where that one is.
Inside of those plates. Robert already halfway up dirt, pushing hard and able to get the frag again on Novozo. Robert is a menace in dirt. Once again, applying heavy pressure while the kitchen vertical is going off.
Not able to deal with that Malusi, but potentially going to be able to deal with the box 3 player as he shows presence on dirt. Again, it activates the Malusi, and now they need to spend a gun, or in this case 2, watching dirt. And Robert drawing a ton of attention away from the main vector of the attack, which is going to be main, it's going to be vertical, and KPG 2000 doing exactly what he does best, sitting on hatches and getting random frags. I mean...
I will say though, with the setup that NC State's going for, they've pretty much cleared out most of the areas that they want initially open for their attack. With pretty much Armory almost completely given up aside from boxes in the door, the plant could come out here any moment now so long as NC State gets their players into position.
And I think I think the plant is going to come soon here. I mean, Lazy Ice, they're stuck in blue. All they can watch is Moto, but that's not really where the attack is going to be coming from. Mama Fish and Bears are going to be stuck watching this B-bomb site drop. And, well, it's a 4v2 on that angle as Hardison is completely occupying Lazy Ice's attention as he now works his way all the way into bar, and I don't think Lazy Ice saw this. He got a free frag under the Goyo, and he's going to be looking for more as Mama Fish going to be swinging around the box side and thankfully going to be able to pick up Hardison and stop his reign, but amidst all the chaos, NC State has worked their way into the bomb site, but Mama Fish gonna find a second, takes out the buck, and suddenly this is looking entirely possible as Mama Fish just needs to find this planter in bar. KPG gets off plant, and that could afford Mama Fish just the opportunity that they need to push in and deny this plant here. He's not being covered. He's gonna just get killed on the plant. No. What is this? Oh no. My gosh, where was the coverage?
I believe the Ash was above. I believe he was pressuring onto the vertical holes, but because of the transition of where the plant was going off, he had to run clear all the way back to Moto Hatch in order to come down, and it just did not. He didn't have enough time.
An unfortunate
kind of really fumbling there, in my opinion.
An unfortunate way for that round to end, and Lazy Ice going absolutely huge for Charlotte to ensure that at least going into the attacking side here, NC State still have to contend with 2 rounds from Charlotte. It is not as comfortable of a cushion as the 5-1 split we saw last map.
Agreed. It is still something. I think anyone would rather be in a position when you have 2 rounds instead of 1 round. Switching over here to the attack. NC State actually coming to CCTV. What we previously said is kind of falling out of favor with the community. However, looks like they're sticking to their bread and butter. Would you say?
It looks like it, and I think that's kind of indicative of course, KPG here being the main strat maker and kind of the IGL of this team. He is, a little bit more in favor of the proven working strategies rather than the more experimental cutting edge of Siege, which is absolutely not to say that it's a bad style or a lesser style. That is a style that works time and time again, being careful, cautious, and using what works to their advantage. And, using what NC State kind of already knows. Clubhouse, in the competitive scene, we call it a ranked map. You go there and you play ranked, and all of these players have more than enough ranked experience to know what's happening on CCTV Cash. So it's a good, comfortable place to start, rather than going for something crazy on Gym Bedroom, with not potentially the time that they'd like this early in the semester to go over strats and that nature, things of that nature. So I think CCTV, it's a comfortable place to start. I think over the course of the semester, we might see a transition to a preference for Gym Bedroom, but as of right now, we're probably going to see NC State starting on this CCTV because it's the easiest for everybody to do.
Yeah, I think NC State attempting to try and trick the wall there, but of course putting the battery on the wrong wall. Actually, they're only able to get 1 ace charge off there, I believe. So it's only a head hold there on the wall. If you could zoom in on that for us, Mr. Observer.
What happened?
Was he able to get 1 or 2?
Double.
Oh, he
that's
got
double
2.
eight.
Okay. Yeah. So he was able to do it. They were tempted to try and... I believe they tried to impact trick, and no, they didn't. They let it go. With 1 ace charge down, I believe? Yeah,
I think that's 1 ace charge spent and 2 potentially
2
left.
down, actually. 2 down from ace. So they were able to trick 1 ace charge, but not the second.
Huh, okay, yeah. That is the power of Ace. You throw 1 charge on one wall and 1 charge on another, and what are you going to do about it? Well, Reinforce is going to say, what are you going to do about this? And absolutely decapitates Bears and Devozo, and out of nowhere, suddenly NC State leading the man count on this round here. KPG still posted up well in rafters to deny any push in from plant here, and in a 3v5, this attack is completely fallen apart. I'm not even sure where that happened. Where's Reinforce? He's in from down below.
Was that garage?
That was the push from below. Navoza was outside on those garage walls, and Azteca going to find a second frag over here on construction. A 4v2 now. The attack is just stuck on this plat balk here with Waffles and Mama Fish. And this is a difficult site to take man down. It really is.
Yeah, especially with the only real way of getting into sight here being on the breach, with probably at least 3 people watching that breach. It's not looking good.
One of these players 10 seconds ago needed to go to garage door and start pushing up garage, because even if they lose the fight, you know, you've just got to do something desperate. And see, now the smokes are coming out, and there's just no way in here. I would expect Charlotte to just stand around and talk a little bit. I wouldn't expect them to even try to win this round.
Yeah, I think that's what they're doing right now, just kind of stalling, seeing what they can talk about. But really, what is there to talk about other than they're just losing gunfights? Reinforced gets Mama Fish off of the rappel, and it's just, once again, these gunfights. It's just, if you don't win the gunfights, you're not gonna win a round. Simple as that. And it's just goes to show over and over again.
Now, what do they call that on the 18? They call that the Magi strat. Win your gunfights, win the game. It's been preached at every level of the NC State program, and NC State showing it to great effect here. Reinforced getting his frags, and what is NC State doing, Chalmer?
Winning.
They're winning the rounds, because that's all you need to do. You need to get the frags and win the rounds. This is an FPS game. You can use all of the strategy, trickery, and everything in the book, but at the end of the day, if you shoot better than the other guy, there's a good chance you're going to win.
Indeed. Although strats can get you a little bit, it can try to equal out, but at the end of the day, like you said, gun skill is king. And if you can click heads better than the other person, you're probably going to be the one winning 9 out of 10 times. However, you can go for that.
Appreciate it. Speaking of clicking, all 5 members of NC State are going to be clicking basement, as that is the second site that we are going to be seeing courtesy of the NC State defense here. Another one of those great bunker sites with a little bit of potential to roam, but generally kind of a safer, more mellowed out experience. You know, as a defender, you feel very comfortable playing in the basement. You're in basement and you're nice and cozy. You're all tucked up. You know, you're safe from all the attackers and all the menagerie of the outside world. It's a very comfortable place to be.
It is a very comfortable place to be. However, that Maestro cam above kitchen is going to make some attackers very uncomfortable trying to open that hatch. However, looking at the lineup that Charlotte's bringing, with just the sheer amount of flashes, smokes, and a ying, do you think this could be a rush plan?
I think this totally could be a Russian. I think that may be what they were talking about in this break here. I mean, bringing just a thermite for the top-down clear, you're not going for a regular clear. If you're just bringing a thermite, especially when you're spending one of them on dirt wall, this is no ordinary push. Either this is, and I'll leave that up for you to decide whether it's an extraordinary push in the form of extraordinarily bad or extraordinarily rushing. And it looks like extraordinarily rushing. I think you hit the nail on the head here. Robert's going to need to be very careful to not lose his life here on blue. And I think he might be calling, yeah, he's calling it blue, and he is very quick to escape there.
I think regardless of what Charlotte tries to do here, they're up against bulletproof cams from the Maestro, and also the LNG, which is down. Oh, never mind. Charlotte explosive, and they just managed to get onto the site and get all 4 kills that they need.
Robert
absolutely just catching NC State with their pants around their ankles once again, and the rush actually works.
Yeah, Robert now in a 1v4 going to try to remedy this situation for NC State. It's looking nigh on impossible, and Bears is going to make sure that it is a complete impossibility as he quickly deals with Robert now in the site. And, I mean, a good call by Charlotte to say, okay, NC State's, punishing our slow clear. They're punishing our kind of methodical approach. So what if we just absolutely take them by surprise? I don't think they're going to be able to deal with that. And if you can shoot well, that's all good, and that's all well and good. But if your screen's entirely white, what are you shooting at?
Agreed.
You have no clue what you're going to be shooting at. And I think that's a great call by Charlotte to at least get around on the board and keep this battle a little close.
I agree there. However, I don't think it's definitely not going to work again. Well, logic dictates it won't work again if they try it. You never know. However, if they were to go for it again, there's just a simple pick in order to deal with that. You just bring the warden, and you're no longer blind from anything, really.
Exactly, and I don't think NC State are scared of it happening again, because the warden they did not bring in. Well, if you look at Charlotte's lineup, it doesn't look like a rush lineup. I think they are very comfortable to acknowledge that that was nothing more than a pocket strat, and it should not be attempted again.
Agreed. And it looks like Hardison's having a great time trying to put down this Evil Eye, by the way.
Oh, an absolute ball of a time. But he manages to get it down, and that little mouse wiggle of success.
I don't believe he's going to have enough time. Yeah, he's going to put down this Evil Eye here in Logi, but he's going to have a very perilous route back down to site.
Going to use the impact to make that a little bit quicker, and I think he can make it safely. He just needs to be a little conscious of that window. Yeah, see, just completely vaulting to avoid it, and he's made it back to site safely.
Yeah, Charlotte bringing a much more traditional lineup in terms of attack, the basement attack here, bringing the Habana, the Thermite, and the Buck for vertical control here.
Oh, Reinforce might be able to get a hop out here.
That is outside of stock, unfortunately.
Yeah,
So that's
but, well,
hard.
is there a claymore on this window? Does he know?
I don't think there is. He would have heard it. No way he jumps out for this, does he?
Oh, he totally does. Oh, he totally does.
Oh, no.
And he's gonna get that free frag. Oh, no.
Oh, that is a horrible death there from Charlotte, losing the Zofia and losing their most reliable way of actually taking out those evil eyes.
Yeah, and those evil eyes are going to be absolutely putting in work to ensure that this hatch stays closed. There is no world in which this kitchen hatch gets open. That is...
Not at all.
Oh.
I feel so bad for Charlotte, but at the end of the day, that's just the strength of Solus. Being able to catch these players on the drones and absolutely punishing them. These evil eyes... Oh, come on, do it. Oh, wait!
He got C4'd! No!
Oh, no! This Habana, those are just not. This is not his day. Absolutely not. Waffle going down as well. Charlotte absolutely falling apart here on the attack on the basement. Reinforced gets third, trades out Azteca, and now all that's left is Mama Fish hanging around outside of dirt. Not entirely sure what's up. Never mind. Reinforced gets another 4K.
Oh my goodness. This is not... Oh, we should not have let this boy cook. Oh, get him out of the kitchen. Get him out of the kitchen. Get NC State out of the kitchen. No more Maestro cams in there. No more.
16-4.
No more anything. Y'all need to stop cooking on Charlotte. This isn't fair.
Oh man. Charlotte probably didn't expect to go into this map having so much of a disadvantage in terms of gun skill, but with Reinforced just absolutely running a T-hunt on Charlotte, there's not much else they can do. If anything, I feel like this is probably the best they could do given the situation here. Whenever they're able to kill Reinforce, they win the round, but getting there has been such a slog that it's just not really working for them.
Now, something that I do want to talk about that I find immensely interesting about NC State, and I brought this up in the last broadcast, but I want to bring this up again because I think it is just so weird and cool, and I like it, and I really think it's worth highlighting. NC State, almost every round, are bringing an ACS-12. Whether it's on a Zombie or Maestro. They're not bringing the 9x19 SVN, they're not bringing the Maestro Alta, they're bringing the ACS. What a weird but cool pick. And it completely throws off the enemy because you're not expecting a Zombie to be having a DMR, and you're not expecting a Maestro to have a DMR, and yet both of them consistently on NC State's defenses do. And it's such a unique way to play the game, and I really appreciate that level of being unique. Maybe if we're not running the absolute most up-to-date strats, we're doing unique, fun things, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, and the ACS in of itself isn't a bad gun at all. It's a very good gun, however, like you said, it's definitely not the traditionally preferred gun. But in the positions that they're putting these operators in, it really works. A lot of damage, by the way, onto Bears and Novozo early. Wonder what from?
What? Where are they getting hurt from?
What? Are they getting... I honestly think that is the ACS shooting through the breach.
I think it is.
Oh,
Krish!
Yeah,
oh, Krish!
This is a situation where the ACS shines, and the amount of poke damage it does. You take one shot from that DMR, you're down half your HP, like Novozo, like Bears, like Waffles. And now, with such low HP, Charlotte really has to rethink what they're going to do here. Azteca gets an early kill on the Bears, and once again, Charlotte has just kind of stalled out here in the breach, and they're just losing out to the ACS, shooting at them from rafters.
A real round changer, that ACS is, and I think it is just so interesting. See a double kill, and
Mama Fish has
Mama Fish lags out. What an unfortunate thing to happen at this current juncture. And where's Lazy Eyes?
Lazy Eyes is, I believe, on the roof at the moment.
Yeah, Lazy Eyes gonna pick up 2, and well, it's looking a little more possible than it was looking a little moment ago.
Whoa!
Whoa! We can't say that on Twitch.
Not at all. We didn't say it. We have no control over what you're saying.
Well, we'll have to talk to
Oh.
Reinforce about that unfortunate use of language
Yeah.
there. But
What's going on here?
Lazy Ice in a 1v3 here, it's still entirely possible. They found the 2 frags on the window, and well, you know, if they find 3 more, this absolutely keeps Charlotte in the game. So
I just don't think it's gonna happen. Charlotte across this entire game has just not. This entire map really has not been looking very good, and Hardison gets a shotgun blast and close out the set 2 over NC State. Very convincing here on the second map.
And that is going to be all she wrote for Charlotte versus NC State, as NC State takes the series 2-0 in what I would argue is pretty convincing fashion here. Reinforce stepping up to the plate and taking the role very seriously. Going to go, what did he go? 16-5 to close out the map. Charlotte, unfortunately, lacking an answer. Thank you for joining us here on the cast. And yeah,
Are we going to be doing an interview, by the way?
Are we going to do an interview? This voice channel does not have the ability to get more than 3 people.
So we would have to swap over to another channel in order to do an interview.
We would have to, well,
let's switch it to a be right back, I guess, while we discuss it.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We have a post-match interview with the IGL and team captain of A-Team, one KPG 2000. KPG, how are you feeling about that match?
Pretty good. We had a super sub come in, so...
A super sub indeed. A super foul mouth, too, I noticed. We're going to have to talk to him about that one. But how are you feeling when you were down 1-5 on Villa? What were some of the conversations that were happening in the team chat?
At that point, it was pretty much, this is their map pick, and we were just dying to, like, over-peaking, over-aggression, and all of that. So we just decided, you know what, let's just win all our defenses. Then the 1-5 won't matter. And
exactly.
to just that.
Exactly, yeah. and win all your defenses. You did surely. How are you feeling going into Clubhouse there with the addition of Reinforce absolutely going nuclear on that defensive side? Was the morale back up? Were you just kind of having fun? How was it feeling then?
I mean, morale was a bit down ending the first half on Villa, but then once we got our comeback and since we were confident in our defenses, I mean, morale started raising. Then Luis or Finest had a test that he had to attend to and complete. So I guess we called in Reinforce being our sub, and Reinforce was ready to shoot. And ready to shoot.
Surely was. Well, you know, we're gonna cut you loose and let you go celebrate with your team here. But thank you for taking the time to talk to us, and for our viewers on Twitch, thank you for joining us for an incredible match between NC State and Charlotte. We hope to bring you more content very soon, but that's gonna be all for us tonight. I'd like to thank our wonderful production team, of course, my co-host Chalmer himself, as well as our wonderful observer and analyst, Mr. Spoon Wrangler himself, all the way from the B team straight to the production. He was a great help in helping us get this broadcast to you today. We hope you enjoyed, and we hope you have a great night. That's going to be all from us today. Have a good night.
Everybody have a good night. Go back. Woo!
Woo!